This is such a fun movie.
Thank
And probably all of you don't know this reference, but it reminds me of those 60s and 70s Disney films like, Merlin Jones or Dexter Riley movies, the computer wore tennis shoes and things like that. It's so
you.
lighthearted and wonderful. So congratulations, Ali.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Um, Sophia, you do such a great job in this. You seem like you're an old hat at in the acting business.
Thank you.
Was it fun with working with the cast you have?
Oh my gosh, definitely. I could not speak highly enough of every single cast member and every single crew member as well. It all just felt like one massive family, to be honest. Like everyone just connected so quickly. Like honestly, the first day on set with everyone, it was just like instant connection. It was so fun.
And I saved my gushing for this because Cheryl Hines, you are one of my favorite actresses. And over the years, we met a few times at Sundance, at the Caledonian, if I remember right. You are such a lovely human being and so kind to people.
Hmm.
So nice. Are you sure you have the right person?
I think so.
So nice of you to say.
Yep.
And what a great actress! I know that you came up from improv with the Groundlings and all, but you have taken that to another level.
Well, yeah, thank you. It's been very exciting to start out on Curb and then be able to do different projects and then to do something like this one, like Popular Theory, where you're playing an aunt who doesn't always get it, but always loves the right way, but doesn't always go about it the right way. So it's I've been having a very good time in my career.
I am so glad, and it shows. Ali, when how did you get the idea for this? Was it something that you personally went through because you are a genius?
Oh, stop. I was a big science nerd growing up. I was a big science nerd, and I had a dad who made us memorize like words of the day and then use them at the dinner table. And then I would be excited and use them at school, which would then lead me to get made fun of. So I relate to Erwin a lot. I put a lot of myself into that character. But I think fundamentally what excited me most about this story and the kernel that the movie started with was the idea of connection, because it's the fundamental part of being alive. We can't live without connection. Like it's like an imperative thing for our like well-being, like, kids who, I won't go into the science of it, but the idea that you don't need a ton of friends to be happy, which is, I think, a big thing in our world today. Like, oh, I need so many followers on social media. You don't need a ton of friends to be happy, a ton of followers, but you need someone. You need that like one person that gets you.
I think that's so right. And Sophia, talk to me about putting on the character of Irwin. She's must have been a ball to play.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Every scene was just so fun. And a lot of it, a massive, massive part of it has to do with the writing. Like the writing and the words were just so natural, even though all the stuff she says is like half of it I don't even really understand. I don't know. It was it just kind of came naturally to me to play Irwin because one, Ali is like amazing. And I don't know. It was just such an amazing character to play, and it she taught me a lot, like scientifically, and that you don't need to be liked by everyone.
Was it
Definitely.
was it hard to get through the science jargon that you had to say?
Sometimes at the beginning I was really trying to understand everything that I would say because it helps. But near the end, I was like, oh my goodness, this I can't even anymore. Like I don't because I was her age when I was playing the character, and I was just starting to learn what an atom was. in science, and she's learning about like particle accelerators and all that stuff. And I'm like, I can't.
Cheryl, when you approach a role like this, or you get a script, what does a script have to have for you to say yes to?
It has to have a way to connect with people, and popular theory does that in a lot of different ways. So for me, I love that people connect with Irwin. I mean, it made me remember what it was like to be that age and feel like you don't fit in, and you don't, everybody else seems to have it together and you're the only one that doesn't. That feeling. Also, just playing Aunt Tammy at, parenting, you always feel like you don't know what you're doing, but you're desperately trying. So I just like that. I love that there was a timelessness to this. Even when you watch it, you could be watching something that's taking place in the 70s or in 2024. And I love that about that, Allie. But it also speaks to, the connection that people have with it. You either connect with it in the way that when you were young, or as an adult, you're watching somebody young go through it, and you're trying to help them, and you're doing everything you can, but it's probably not right.
Well, how was Sophia as a scene partner?
Oh my gosh, Sophia is amazing. She's an amazing actress, and there's not a false moment with her. So it's just everything is natural, and at the same time emotional, which is interesting because Irwin is not outwardly that emotional. But when you're watching Sophia play Irwin, you can see Irwin's hurting, Irwin's trying to get through it, even though outwardly she's trying to be tough. So it's, for an actress to be able to do that is extraordinary.
And this goes back to, under the direction of Allie, because she understands this character, as she said. But in looking through the lens and calling the shots, Allie, I mean, this must have been a total joy to direct.
This movie was a labor of love. This movie means everything to me. I'd been trying to get it made for years, and honestly, I'm so glad that we got it made exactly when we did, because if I hadn't, I wouldn't have gotten to work with these two wonderful women. Casting was so fun for this project. I come from a casting background. I did my internships in casting, and casting the role of Irwin was crazy. I saw over 500 girls from around the world to play this 11-year-old genius. And, we narrowed it down to these two girls at the end. It was Sophia and this other little girl who lived in Atlanta, which is where we were shooting. And as an independent film, the pressure a producer is going to put on you to choose the kid that you don't have to fly in from France, because Sophia lives in Normandy, France. And it was so funny because I remember my casting directors loved this other girl. They were like, she's so connected, they loved her. And something just didn't feel right about it. And so I took the weekend and I sat on it and I thought about it. And it took me a little bit, but what I realized was that this is a character with a connection problem, and this little girl was playing everything in this insanely, intensely connected way. And Sophia was playing Irwin, Sophia was performing the role of Irwin. There was connectivity to it, but there was clearly it was clearly a girl with a connection problem. And at that moment it clicked. And as soon as I explained that to my casting directors and stuff like that, they were like, oh my God, you're right. Everyone was 100% Camp Sophia. So my producers just had to suck it up. deal with flying someone in from France.
You made the right decision. I mean,
I know.
Sophia, you have a wonderful career ahead of you, and this is a fun movie, but I want to see you do drama. I want to see you do a musical. You are just at the beginning of all this.
You guys are gonna make me cry. I'm like getting
That's my job.
emotional over here.
Were you allowed? This is for Sophia and Cheryl. Were you allowed to go off script a little bit too in your exchanges?
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah. Oh, okay. Um, yeah, I mean, I sometimes I find it really hard to go off script because I'm like, no, the writer wrote it like that for a reason. But if if it was just like swapping some words out, I think I was really able to talk with Allie, and if I just came forward to her and I'm like, I don't know, I don't really feel like she would say it like this. I don't really know if she would use this word. Then she was totally like, oh yeah, like, totally. She was so open to everything, and I love that.
Cheryl?
Yeah, no, I had the same experience. I mean, I thought it was so beautifully written. I didn't stray. But
Yeah.
but that being said, just like Sophia's talking about, I definitely felt the freedom to try something different, a different approach to the line or the scene or the feeling of the scene. So yeah, there was definitely a lot of freedom.
With
Yeah.
Cheryl specifically, like she stuck to the dialogue, but she added stuff. And like we used so much of the little additions that she added. It's so funny. I've never worked with an actress like Cheryl before who like gives you something completely different every time. Like going through, and every time it was good. So it made it very difficult to choose. But the editing her was so fun. Editing her was like, it was like we got to craft this performance together because we had so many hilarious pieces. So it's like, well, is she this kind of hilarious or is she this kind of hilarious? And it was a joy.
Sophia, what do you think audiences are going to take away from watching Popular Theory?
I really hope they take away what I took away from it. And honestly, this movie and this character really helped me grow like personally and realize like you don't need to change yourself to find friends, and it's the exact opposite. Like you need to stay how you want to act and what jokes you want to make in order to find the right people, because if you pretend to be someone else, those friends that you have now, they're not going to last. Like, you know and I feel like that's really important to get through to people, because I personally struggle with that a lot. So this was like a really important character for me to be able to play.
Cheryl, what do you think audience will take away from the film?
Um, I think people will, like I said, see themselves in it in some way, either an earlier version of who they were or who they are now. And like Sophia's saying, it does make you think about yourself a little bit and say, okay, yeah, why am I worried about what other people think about me? You know, I I'm perfect the way I am, or I'm absolutely imperfect the way I am. And that's who I am, and it's not going to change. And, I need to embrace it. And I think that's what's fun about this is, yeah, by the end of the film, you feel like, oh, yeah, I'm a little weirdo, and I like being a little weirdo.
It's true. It's so true. Allie, what a great film you brought to us. And I know that people are just going to get, behind it. This is one of those films that I think this generation later will look back on and go, "This is one of my childhood favorites. This is such a cute film."
Oh, I hope so.
Well, congratulations to all of you. You guys have been great. And Cheryl, we got to get together for a cup of coffee sometime.
All right.
I kept saying hello to you in elevators, in Salt Lake or in Park City, but yeah.
Never had a moment for an actual coffee.
for an actual conversation too. Guys,
Okay.
take care.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
what a great film. Thank you so much.
Tony.
Thank you.
Thank you.